Hey guys, welcome to your favorite channel. Who are we going to talk about today? Kika.
Hi guys, I'm Kika.
Yep, today we'll be seeking what Kika, the so-called YouTube sensation, is actually like, and how exactly she's influencing people. Influencing or wrongly influencing? Well, Kika is one of the highest followed creators on YouTube Shorts, with over 16 million subscribers. Her content is colorful, her trends are catchy, and her fans are madly obsessed with her. But her creativity, we'll be diving into it right away. She is one of the most problematic creators one could come across on the platform. And trust me, the rabbit hole goes much deeper than what meets the eye. In this video, we'll get to know about Kika, her plagiaristic approach, and the wrong influence she's spreading in the creator community with her problematic content. Before we get into Kika specifically, let's rewind a bit. A few years ago, YouTube made one of its biggest platform changes ever by introducing YouTube Shorts. This feature completely transformed how content creators could grow on the platform. Suddenly, within seconds of uploading a simple dance or trend video, anyone could potentially reach millions of viewers. This new format created overnight sensations. People who were complete unknowns one day became internet celebrities the next. And that's exactly what happened with Kika. She rose to fame by following trends and creating simple dance videos that captured people's attention through bright colors, exaggerated expressions, and viral sounds. At first glance, her content seems harmless enough. Just another creator riding the YouTube Shorts wave to success. But when you look a little deeper, you'll discover something much more concerning. Here's where things get problematic. After examining Kika's content more carefully, I've discovered that she's built her entire career by copying other creators' work almost word for word, movement for movement. One creator she frequently copies is Mermaid Scales, another popular skit YouTuber with a massive following on both YouTube and TikTok. Mermaid Scales creates original content while following trends, but Kika has repeatedly stolen her exact skits without giving any credit whatsoever. Let me give you some examples. In one video, Kika copies Mermaid Scales' skit down to the exact facial expressions, movements, and even background elements. She literally uses the same cloud and sky background. The only thing she changes is her outfit. Otherwise, it's a carbon copy of someone else's creative work. In another instance, she copied a skit about how we used to draw the sun in the corner of the page as kids. The original creator posted this months before Kika's version, yet she recreated it word for word without any attribution or acknowledgement.
In this world, it's just it's like it's not the same as it was.
This isn't just happening once or twice. From my research, it appears that the vast majority of her content follows this pattern. I spent just a few minutes researching her videos and was able to find the original sources she copied from. Simply Googling a few words from her skits often leads straight to earlier versions created by other content creators. While Mermaid Scales seems to be a frequent target, Kika doesn't limit her plagiarism to just one creator. She takes content from various sources, both large and small. In many cases, she's stealing from smaller creators who have a fraction of her following. For example, one video she copied originally had only 27,000 views, while her version amassed nearly 5 million views. Think about that disparity for a moment. The original creator puts in the work, comes up with a concept, films it, edits it, and gets 27,000 views. Then Kika comes along, copies it exactly, and gets 5 million views and presumably thousands of dollars in revenue. What makes this even worse is that she doesn't just steal content once, she recycles the same stolen ideas multiple times over the months. Sometimes she'll make minor adjustments, like updating years in the skit, changing 1980s kids to that current year kids, for example. But the core content remains stolen from other creators.
Mom, say mom. Mom, 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 mom.
With 16.9 million subscribers and what must be a substantial income from her channel, there's absolutely no excuse for this level of plagiarism. She has the resources to hire writers or collaborate with other creators if she struggles to come up with original ideas. Yet instead, she chooses the easiest, most unethical path. This reveals an incredible level of laziness that's frankly shocking for someone at her level. Most content creators work tirelessly to develop their own style, to find their unique voice, to create something original that resonates with their audience. Kika has skipped this entire process by simply copying what's already working for others. Let's be clear, there's nothing wrong with being influenced by other creators or following trends. That's how creative ecosystems thrive. But there is a world of difference between being influenced by someone's work and copying it word for word, movement for movement, background for background. You might be wondering how someone with such a massive following can get away with such blatant plagiarism. The answer lies in the nature of YouTube Shorts itself. Unlike long-form content where creators build dedicated audiences who watch most of their videos, Shorts content is distributed more randomly to users. Each video potentially reaches a completely different audience. This means that most viewers won't notice the plagiarism because they haven't seen the original content. Additionally, her massive view counts ensure that any criticism gets buried under an avalanche of new comments. By the time someone calls her out on one video, she's already posted several more, each getting millions of views and thousands of new comments. She's essentially too big to fail in terms of accountability. Her channel is so massive that even legitimate criticism can't gain enough traction to make a difference. Unlike smaller creators who might feel pressured to respond to criticism, she can simply ignore it and continue with business as usual. This isn't a victimless crime. When someone like Kika copies another creator's work, it directly impacts the original creator in several ways. First, it diverts views and engagement from the original content. If millions of people have already seen Kika's version of a skit, they're less likely to watch the original when they come across it. "Oh, I've seen this before," they might think, not realizing they're actually looking at the source material. Second, it devalues the creative work that went into making the original content. Coming up with original ideas, scripting them, filming them, and editing them takes time, effort, and creativity. When someone can simply copy that work and receive greater rewards for it, it undermines the entire creative process. Finally, it creates a discouraging environment for creators who are just trying to do things the right way. Why spend hours developing original content when you could just copy what's already working and potentially get more views? Let me be clear about something. I'm not against creators being influenced by each other. That's how creative communities grow and evolve. When I make videos, I'm often inspired by other creators I admire, and there's nothing wrong with that. The problem arises when inspiration becomes outright copying. When you take someone else's exact concept, script, visual style, and execution without adding anything substantial of your own, that's theft, not inspiration. Genuine inspiration involves taking elements you admire and incorporating them into your own unique creative vision. Maybe you like someone else's editing style, or their approach to storytelling, or their visual aesthetic. Taking those elements and adapting them to fit your own voice and vision is perfectly acceptable and even encouraged. In contrast to Kika Kim's approach, let's highlight some creators who are doing things the right way. There are many YouTubers who put in the work to create original content while still remaining relevant and trending. Take Mr. Beast, for example, who revolutionizes content with massive productions and genuine creativity. His videos may follow certain formulas, but the execution and ideas are uniquely his.
These mannequins is a real human.
What's up?
Let's see if random people can spot the difference. Jimmy, you will have 20 seconds to pick which one of these mannequins is a real human. If you pick correctly, I will give you $10,000.
Oh gosh.
Start the timer!
Oh.
One of these is real. What are you thinking?
Oh my god, I don't know. This guy, no, he's fake.
The chef's fake?
Yeah.
No pressure, only 10 seconds left.
These all look fake over here.
Which one's real? You gotta pick. So you have 5 seconds. Which one's real?
Over here, this one in the blue.
Sitting down?
Yeah.
Okay. Hit the subscribe button if you think she got it right. Will the real mannequin reveal themselves?
Oh my god.
I guess she got it wrong.
Then there's Marques Brownlee, MKBHD, who's built an empire on thoughtful tech reviews with his own distinctive style and perspective. He didn't need to copy anyone else's format to succeed. He developed his own voice and earned his following through consistent quality and originality. Even in the short space, creators like Drew Efalo have found success by developing a unique perspective and approach. She didn't need to copy anyone else's content verbatim to build her following.
You speak when you're spoken to, Dingaling. It's true, though. One of your babies was born on Earth.
Are you the ruler of this earth?
How did you know?
The quality of your talk?
Do you love it?
I love it.
I am here if you need to talk. I'm here if
I am here if you need
I am
to
here
talk.
if you need to talk.
While we're discussing this issue, it's worth noting that content plagiarism on platforms like YouTube exists in something of a legal gray area. Copyright laws protect specific expressions of ideas, the exact wording of a script, or particular visual elements, but they don't always effectively protect concepts or formats. This means that while Kika Kim is doing is clearly unethical, it might not always be strictly illegal. She's careful to recreate content rather than directly downloading and re-uploading it, which would be a clear copyright violation. Instead, she's refilming skits with herself, which makes the legal boundaries much murkier. This is part of why platforms struggle to address this kind of plagiarism. Their automated copyright systems are designed to catch exact audio and visual matches, not conceptual copying. And without a formal complaint from the original creator, who might not even be aware their content was stolen or might not have the resources to pursue it, platforms often don't take action. As viewers and consumers of content, we have more power than we might realize. By being more discerning about who we support, we can help shift the balance toward original creators rather than plagiarists. If you recognize copied content, take a moment to find the original creator and support them instead. Leave a comment, share their video, subscribe to their channel. These small actions can make a huge difference, especially for smaller creators who are trying to build an audience through honest means. Additionally, calling out plagiarism when you see it, respectfully but firmly, helps create awareness of the issue. The more people who recognize and speak up about these practices, the harder it becomes for creators like Kika Kim to continue profiting from stolen work. I sometimes wonder what's going through her mind when she sits down to film another stolen skit. How does someone with millions of followers and presumably substantial income justify this level of content theft? Maybe it started small, borrowing an idea here and there, and gradually snowballed as she saw no consequences. Or perhaps there's a disconnect in her mind between digital content and actual theft. After all, she's not taking a physical object from someone's hands.
What up?
But let's be real, it's probably about the numbers. When stolen content consistently performs well and generates serious revenue, it creates a powerful incentive to keep doing it. In a digital economy where attention equals money, why fix what isn't broken? Understanding these psychological factors doesn't excuse the behavior, but it helps explain why it's so common. When the rewards are immediate and the consequences are minimal or non-existent, human nature often follows the path of least resistance. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. YouTube's algorithm is actually part of the problem here. When a platform rewards watch time and engagement above all else, It's essentially telling creators, do whatever gets those metrics up, we don't care how. Think about it from a purely practical standpoint. If you're trying to grow your channel quickly, which seems faster, spending days developing original concepts that might flop, or simply copying what's already proven to work. Unfortunately, many choose the latter, and Kika seems to be their queen. The algorithm has no originality detector. It can't tell if a video concept was stolen. All it sees are those juicy engagement metrics, views, likes, comments, and shares. If those numbers look good, the video gets pushed to more people, regardless of whether the content was original or plagiarized. YouTube Shorts seems particularly vulnerable to this issue. The rapid-fire nature of Shorts consumption means viewers rarely investigate who created a concept first. You watch for 15 to 30 seconds, maybe like or comment, then scroll to the next short. It's designed for quick hits, not thoughtful consideration of who deserves credit. Have you noticed the ridicule double standard in how content is protected on YouTube? Use 10 seconds of a copyrighted song in your video, and you'll likely get demonetized faster than you can say copyright strike. The system is incredibly efficient at protecting corporate intellectual property. But when it comes to protecting individual creators' concepts and ideas from being stolen by other creators, crickets. There is virtually no recourse for creators like Mermaid scales when someone like Kika steals their work. YouTube's copyright strike system is designed primarily to protect large media companies, not individual creators. And while copyright law does protect the specific expression of ideas, like the exact video footage, it doesn't effectively protect the concepts themselves. This creates a massive loophole that content thieves like Kika can exploit. They can steal your exact concept, your exact script, even your exact visual style, as long as they refilm it themselves instead of using your actual footage. They can often avoid any consequences. It's a fundamental flaw in how creative work is protected on digital platforms. This issue extends beyond just YouTube or Kika. It reflects a troubling trend in our digital culture where speed and quantity often triumph over quality and originality. When we celebrate and reward creators who simply copy others' work rather than those who innovate, we're collectively shaping a culture that devalues originality. We're saying that taking shortcuts is not just acceptable, but preferable. Think about the creative landscape 5 or 10 years from now if this trend continues. We could end up with an environment where truly original content becomes increasingly rare because the incentives simply don't support it. That would be an enormous loss for all of us. Creative evolution happens when people build upon and transform existing ideas, not when they simply duplicate them. When Elvis Presley was influenced by black rhythm and blues artists, he didn't just copy their songs note for note, he transformed them into something new. When filmmakers like Quentin Tarantino draw inspiration from earlier works, they don't just remake those films, they reinterpret them through their unique creative lens. That's how creativity is supposed to work. You absorb influences, you learn from them, and then you add your own perspective and create something new. What Kika and creators like her are doing isn't creative evolution, it's just copying and pasting. I want to emphasize something important here. We're not just talking about abstract concepts. There are real people being hurt by these practices. For many creators, YouTube isn't just a hobby, it's their livelihood. When their content is stolen, it directly affects their income and career opportunities. It can mean the difference between being able to create full-time or having to give up on their creative dreams. I recently spoke with a creator, I won't name them to protect their privacy, who lost a potential brand deal because a larger creator had stolen their concept and the brand had already worked with the plagiarist. The brand thought the original creator was the one doing the copying, not the other way around. That's a real financial impact with real consequences. And there's an emotional toll as well. Imagine putting your creativity and your personality into your videos, only to see someone else get credit for your ideas. It's demoralizing in a way that's hard to describe unless you've experienced it. These aren't just content issues. They're human issues affecting real creators with real dreams and aspirations. So what's the solution here? How do we address this problem of rampant content theft by creators like Kika? First, as viewers, we need to be more conscious about who we're supporting. If you recognize that a creator's content is consistently plagiarized from others, consider unsubscribing and instead follow the original creators they're stealing from. Your attention and engagement are valuable, and direct them toward those who deserve them. Second, platforms like YouTube need to develop better systems for protecting individual creators' work. The technology exists to detect similar content. It's just not being applied to protect individual creators the way it protects corporate copyright holders. Third, we need to cultivate a creator culture that values originality over metrics. This means celebrating and supporting creators who take risks and develop unique voices, even if their view counts aren't as high as those who take shortcuts. And finally, we need to keep having conversations like this one. Bringing awareness to these issues is the first step toward addressing them. By shining a light on problematic practices, we make it harder for people like Kika to continue getting away with them. If by some chance Kika is watching this video, which, let's be real, she probably is since we're talking about her, I want to speak directly to you for a moment. This isn't about canceling you or destroying your career. I mean, who am I to do that anyway? This is about asking you to reflect on what you're doing and make a change. Look at that platform. Look at that influence. Imagine what you could do if you channeled all that into truly original content. You have the resources, the team, the equipment to create something unique and meaningful, something that actually adds to the creative landscape rather than just duplicating what's already there. It's never too late to change direction. Many creators have faced criticism and used it as an opportunity for growth. You could acknowledge past mistakes and commit to original content moving forward. Your massive audience would likely support this transition, especially if you approach it with transparency and sincerity. You have the chance to transform from being part of the problem to being part of the solution, to use your influence to elevate the creative community rather than exploiting it. I sincerely hope you'll consider taking that path. You know, as I've been diving deeper into this issue, I've realized that Kika is really just the tip of the iceberg. There's a more systemic problem here that deserves our attention.
Pookie? Pookie is missing.
The digital content landscape operates on a scale and speed that traditional creative industries never had to deal with. In the past, if someone plagiarized a book or song or film, the process of getting that content to market was slow enough that there was time for it to be caught and addressed. But today, a stolen concept can be filmed, uploaded, and reach millions before the original creator even realizes what happened. This speed creates accountability gaps that opportunistic creators can exploit. By the time anyone realizes content has been stolen, the plagiarist has already reaped the rewards, views, and subscribers, and often substantial income. And here's another troubling aspect. The more successful a content thief becomes, the more insulated they become from consequences. When you have millions of subscribers who enjoy your content regardless of where it came from, any criticism tends to get drowned out by supportive fans who either don't know or don't care that the content is stolen. I've seen this happen repeatedly. When smaller creators try to call out theft from larger creators, they often face backlash from the larger creators' fan base. They get accused of being jealous or trying to ride coattails, when in reality, they're simply trying to protect their own creative work. Let's talk about YouTube's responsibility in this. I mean, come on. While individual creators certainly bear responsibility for their actions, platforms like YouTube have immense power to shape creator behavior through their policies and algorithms. Currently, YouTube systems are remarkably effective at detecting copyrighted music, film clips, and other traditional media. If I tried to upload a video with even 15 seconds of a popular song playing in the background, it would likely be flagged immediately. Yet, when it comes to protecting individual creators from having their concepts stolen, there is virtually no system in place. This reflects a troubling prioritization. Major media companies with legal teams get robust protection for their intellectual property, while individual creators are largely left to fend for themselves. It's another example of how platforms often prioritize relationships with powerful entities over the needs of the individual creators who make up their ecosystem. What might a solution look like? YouTube could potentially develop systems that analyze content patterns across creators, flagging suspicious similarities for human review. They could create more accessible dispute processes for concept theft. They could even adjust their recommendation algorithms to prioritize originality metrics alongside engagement metrics. None of these solutions would be perfect or easy to implement, but the current approach of essentially ignoring the problem isn't sustainable if we want a healthy creative ecosystem. The challenges we're facing on YouTube aren't entirely unprecedented. Other creative industries have grappled with similar issues and developed systems that might offer some guidance. In academia, for instance, there are established norms around citation and attribution. When academics build on others' work, they're expected to clearly acknowledge their sources. Failure to do so can result in serious consequences, including damaged reputations and even loss of positions. In music, sampling and covering others' work is common, but there are legal frameworks that ensure original creators are credited and compensated. You can't simply record someone else's song and monetize it without their permission or without paying royalties. Even in comedy, an industry that's notoriously difficult to police for joke theft, there are strong cultural norms against stealing others' material. Comedians who are caught repeatedly stealing jokes face significant community backlash and reputational damage. What if we work to establish similar norms and systems in the digital content space? What if proper attribution became not just an ethical choice, but an expected standard? What if platforms built tools that made it easy to credit inspirational sources? These cultural and structural changes wouldn't eliminate the problem entirely, but they could help shift incentives toward more ethical content creation. Something I want to emphasize is the incredible power you have as a viewer. Yes, you watching this right now. Every time you watch, like, comment on, or share a video, you're casting a vote for what kind of content should thrive on the platform. The algorithm responds to these signals. If plagiarized content consistently gets more engagement than original content, the algorithm will promote more plagiarized content. It's that simple. This means that small choices like choosing to watch and engage with original creators, even if their production value isn't as high, or choosing not to watch creators who repeatedly steal content, can collectively make a huge difference. You might think your individual views don't matter much in the grand scheme of billions of views, but they do. Algorithms identify patterns, and when enough viewers start prioritizing originality, the patterns shift. Think of it like voting. A single vote rarely decides an election, but collectively, votes determine outcomes. Similarly, your viewing habits may seem insignificant in isolation, but combined with others making similar choices, they shape the content landscape. Despite all the challenges I've outlined, I'm actually optimistic about the future of content creation. Why? Because I believe that originality has inherent value that can't be replicated through theft. Think about the creators who have built the most dedicated, passionate fan bases. They're almost always people who bring something unique to the tablet, a particular perspective, a distinctive creative voice, a willingness to take risks and push boundaries. MrBeast isn't successful just because he gives away money. He's successful because he constantly innovates with his concepts and execution. Emma Chamberlain didn't become a cultural phenomenon by copying others. She developed a unique editing style and authentic voice that others now imitate. Creators like Casey Neistat, Hank Green, and Bo Burnham have thrived because they offer something you can't get anywhere else. Originality builds stronger connections with audiences. It creates more distinctive brands, and it leads to more sustainable, fulfilling creative careers. Content thieves might get quick views, but they rarely build the kind of devoted audience that sustains careers through platform changes and trend cycles. As platforms evolve and viewers become more discerning, I believe we'll see a gradual shift toward valuing and rewarding originality more consistently. But that shift depends on all of us, creators, platforms, and viewers recognizing the problem and taking steps to address it. So we've talked about the problem, but let's get into the solutions. I want to share some practical tips for finding and supporting more original creators, because I think this is one of the most powerful ways we can collectively fight against content theft. First, explore beyond the recommended feed. I know it's so easy to just keep scrolling through what YouTube throws at you, but the algorithm tends to show you more of what you already watch. That creates this bubble that's super hard to break out of. Make a point of actively searching for new creators and topics you're interested in. Second, when you find creators you enjoy, take a moment to check out their smaller contemporaries. Often the Channels tab on a creator's page will show you similar creators who might be doing equally great work with smaller audiences. These smaller creators are frequently the ones taking the biggest creative risks. Third, when you discover a creator making genuinely original content, don't just watch, engage. Leave thoughtful comments, share their videos with friends, subscribe and click the notification bell. These actions signal to the algorithm that this is content worth promoting. And trust me, for smaller creators, that engagement means everything. Fourth, consider supporting original creators financially if you can. Whether through channel memberships, Patreon, merchandise purchases, or simply watching ads on their videos, don't skip. Financial support helps creators sustain their work and reduces the pressure to chase trends or cut corners. Finally, be vocal about originality. When you see content you believe is stolen, respectfully point it out. When you see original content you love, celebrate it. These cultural signals help establish norms around what's acceptable in the creator community. Before I wrap up, I want to share a bit of personal reflection on why this issue matters so much to me. As a creator myself, I've experienced the frustration of seeing my work copied without attribution. I felt that sinking feeling of watching someone else get credit and rewards for ideas I worked hard to develop. But beyond my personal experience, I care about this because I care about the future of creative expression online. I believe platforms like YouTube have the potential to be unprecedented engines of creativity, giving voice to perspectives and ideas that might never have found an audience in traditional media. That potential is completely undermined when we create systems that reward theft over originality. It's undermined when creative shortcuts consistently outperform creative risk-taking. It's undermined when new creators look at the landscape and conclude that copying is the surest path to success. I want to be part of a creative ecosystem where originality is celebrated, where attribution is the norm, and where the rewards of creative work flow primarily to those doing the actual creating. I believe most of you watching want that too. As we reach the end of this video, I want to emphasize that addressing the problem of content plagiarism requires collective action. No single creator, viewer, or even platform can solve it alone. Creators need to commit to ethical practices and hold each other accountable. Platforms need to develop better systems for detecting and deterring content theft. And viewers, which includes all of us, need to be more intentional about what we watch and support. If you're a creator who's been copying others' work, it's not too late to change course. Begin developing your own voice. When you're inspired by others, give them credit. You might find that creating original content is not only more ethical, but more fulfilling. If you're a viewer concerned about these issues, start making more conscious choices about the content you consume. Seek out originality. Support creators who take creative risks. Be willing to look beyond production value to the substance and originality of the ideas being presented. And if you're someone whose work has been stolen, know that you're not alone. Continue creating despite the frustration. Your original voice matters, and there are audiences who value authenticity over imitation. As I wrap up this video, I want to leave you with some concrete steps you can take today to help address this issue. First, support original creators actively. This means not just watching their videos, but engaging with them, leaving comments, sharing their work, and considering their merchandise or Patreon if they offer these options. Second, when you notice plagiarized content, call it out respectfully. Leave comments identifying the original creator, not in a hateful way, but simply to ensure proper credit is given. Third, diversify your content consumption. The YouTube algorithm tends to show us more of what we already watch. Make a conscious effort to seek out smaller, original creators who might not be getting the algorithmic boost they deserve. Fourth, share this video if you found it valuable. The more we talk about these issues, the more awareness we create, and the more pressure builds for both creators and platforms to address them. The case of Kika stealing content from creators like Mermaid Scales isn't just about one creator making bad choices. It's a window into broader issues affecting the entire creative ecosystem online. How we respond to these issues as creators, as platforms, and as viewers will help determine whether digital content platforms evolve toward rewarding originality or continue to incentivize shortcuts and theft. I believe in our collective ability to create a healthier creative landscape. I believe that originality will ultimately prove more valuable than imitation. And I believe that each of us has the power to influence this evolution through our daily choices and actions. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my thoughts on this. If this aligns with you, please share it with others who might find it valuable. And remember, every time you choose to watch, support, and elevate original creators, you're helping to create the kind of creative ecosystem we all want to see. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you noticed other examples of content theft? Do you have suggestions for how we might better address this issue? Let's continue this important conversation together. Until next time, keep creating, keep supporting originality, and remember that your choices as a viewer matter more than you might think.